Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be Jund League number 88, and it's the exact same list as 87 and 86. It's been working pretty well so far. Granted, I think we've been getting pretty lucky on the matchup front, but we have had a few bad ones, and they've turned out all right. Plug your ears for the next 10 or so seconds. If you don't want to hear spoilers on how the last two leagues went, I'll give you a thumbs up when I'm done spoiling. So close your ears. We are a combined 9-1 with this league. With this list. And the one match that we lost, it was versus Is It Prowess. We took it to game 3, and we kept a 2-lander on the play with two 4-drops in the hand, and we just drew every other expensive card in the deck. So it was unfortunate, but we were at a potentially 10-0. So now that the spoilers are over, there's not much else I want to say about this deck in terms of deck teching. If you are super interested on the decisions that went into making this particular list, you can check out my previous videos. My deck techs are always in the beginning, so you don't have to search too hard. Again, those are leagues 86 and 87, as this is 88 and is the same list as those previous two. So let's take a look at the current modern metagame. Heliod Company still in first, and then Blitz still second, Jund Shadow still third. These two have been flip-flopping for quite a while, but they're pretty firmly second and third. E-Tron was on a brief hiatus, but back up to 4. And then Burn, very popular, as well as other mid-rangey and combo decks. Amulet and Hammer, obviously, both combo. And there's also lots of mid-range, grind-them-out type decks, things like Esper, 5-color Niv, Blue-Red, Gruul. And there's also a mix of other graveyard-related and big mana decks, like, obviously, Tron is a mainstay, Dredge is pretty much a mainstay. So overall, a pretty diverse mixture of combo, control, and aggro. Overall, a pretty exciting format to play in. Let's jump into the league. '88, yeah. When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. Yep, let's go first. Darn. This hand's much better. Nothing to do on 1. But we've got some good interaction and some good threats. I'm thinking I'm bottoming Croxa here. We're pretty far from escaping it. We just have a lot better stuff to do when we hit 2 mana. Alright, so this will intend on getting probably an Overgrown Tomb. And then we'll play Dark Confidant on 2. Ooh, so it's looking like Elves. Elves should be typically a pretty good matchup, especially post-board. And I might just have to take the turn off in order to stomp the Elvish Mystic. Because the Elves deck is pretty capable of exploding. Oh, wow. Let's just do that. That, I think, had to have been the actual nuttiest draw on the deck. This is going to A, kill their elf on turn 1, B, continue to kill elves, and C, allow us to hit our land drops. If they play a single elf here, I'm likely to just get the land back, and then I can use the Kolaghan's command or the Bonecrusher to continue interacting. I do want to hit my land drops. If I find a land naturally, I guess there's an argument to pinging, but if I don't find a land naturally, I think I'm just buying this land back. We didn't find it naturally, but we found the Fatal Push. That makes things a little interesting. I think I actually want to deploy the Dark Confidant now, because I'm still able to kill something with the single mana that I have. I do need to develop my lands. Alright, and then if they do something concerning, like play a good 3-drop, I've got Revolt off of the Catacombs. But Wrenn 6 feels like it's got to be the absolute nightmare for them. There are things we're still worried about, like Collected Company. They can maybe just overrun us, but this hand is going to make it pretty difficult for the opponent to do that. We've got Push, Bonecrusher, K-Command, and Wrenn 6 already in play. We revealed another Elvish Mystic. Alright, so as far as we know, there are no more. Dwinnen's Elite. Unfortunately, I cannot kill both elves. So the question becomes, do I want to push the Mystic, or do I want to push the Dwin's Elite? And I think I want to push the Dwin's Elite. Reason being is Ren and 6 can kill the X ones, but I'm forced to use my more expensive removal on the things that have more than 1 toughness. So let's just get basic Swamp here. They're going at the Ren. It's actually pretty conceivable that I should just block here. I already have no shortage of action, and keeping the board seems like it's a pretty good idea when a lot of their elves care about having lots of elves in play. I can completely empty their board if I block, push a thing, ping, and then stomp something else. They'll be on actual empty. It seems crazy, but I think I actually like blocking. I don't think this is necessarily correct. In fact, it's pretty likely that it isn't. But I like keeping their board as empty as possible. They definitely care about a critical mass of stuff. Alright, and finding the land here is a good sign. I think what I may actually do here is just deploy a Bloodbraid Elf. Right now, what we're missing is a good source of pressure. Like, I can fend off the onslaught for as long as I want, but at some point I do need to win, and having Ren and 6 in play means I can continue killing stuff while playing Bloodbraid. So I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to shoot the Elvish Mystic, putting my Ren at 2, and then playing Bloodbraid Elf. If they've got a Lord, then they could maybe attack down my Ren and 6, which I don't want happening. So it's also just completely possible I should be using this turn to ping the Elvish Mystic and then just hold up more removal spells, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I think I'm likely to use Kolagon's command first, just because it's the most expensive spell that I've got. What's up, JDX and Big Daddy Snow? Alright, and if they go if they use the elf to attack my Ren and 6, I do want to keep the Ren and 6 high, so I think I'm just going to snap off the removal now. We'll shock this, have the opponent discard. I could return the Dark Confidant, which is conceivable, but again, the opponent cares about critical mass. So I think whittling down their own resources is going to be the way I want to go, because then the only card off of the top that I'm super scared of is something like Collected Company. So we'll have them discard and just shock the elf. How do I feel about Bonecrusher after a couple leagues? It's been very solid. I've liked it a lot. Yeah, I'm really valuing maintaining this Ren and 6. Because if they just play another X1 here, I can pretty freely ping it off and then just continue doing my own thing. We've only got 1 red source right now. We've got lots of black, so I guess this is going to get Stomping Ground. They discarded an Azuri. Interesting. Maybe they've got another, and it's legendary. Realm Walker. Alright, well, we can stomp and ping this thing in order to kill it. That card is quite scary. Stomping Ground. Say no. And not taking that 1 damage means I get to use the Ren and 6 here while keeping it alive. Do I want to have the opponent discard again as opposed to using the Stomp? I think I actually do like that, because the opponent discarded an Azuri, which is a pretty high value card, so I have to imagine the rest of their hand is also quite good. Yeah, so let's have the opponent discard, and then we'll shock the Realm Walker. So discard a card, 2 to a target. You will discard, this is my target. They discarded a Collected Company. Wow. I did mention that Company is the card that's individually powerful enough to do something impactful at instant speed. So it is kind of the one thing I'm really concerned about. That's A-okay. We can stomp that and continue ticking up the Ren and 6. If I stomp now, I can also just play the Bonecrusher. That feels like something I'm interested in. So let's stomp, target that. And then I want to save my life here. Basic Forest is pretty bad. Let's just get Swamp, I guess. I guess it may actually be good to get Basic Forest here. We can already escape Kroxa with the mana that we have. It may come up that I want to fetch Basic Swamp in order to revolt a Fatal Push. So to preserve that line for later, it's maybe best to just get the Forest. Alright, feeling pretty okay. The opponent's got one card in hand. They've discarded a Company and an Azuri, so I would imagine their other card is another copy of Company. Another Realm Walker, okay. Well, we can't for sure kill that one, so that's scary. They chose Elf, surprising. Not really. Any way to kill that would be excellent. There it is. I still think I'm going to lead on the Bloodbraid Elf. There's a chance that that hits removal. And then if it does, we get to keep the Bolt for something else. Another NN6. Well, I guess that one's going to be higher loyalty. And then if they want to block and trade for my Bloodbraid and let me keep the Bolt, that feels fine for me. So let's just attack both. And then if they don't block, I'll for sure Bolt that. And then this Renin 6 hasn't been used yet. Let's return a land. And then this is a tap land, so let's just play that one. Alright. Cool. Renin 6. Pretty good versus a deck of mostly X1s. Brutality is just another kill spell, and it's also going to take a Collected Company if we get the clue that the opponent's got one. Fatal Push is going to be good. This Plague Engineer card seems like it's going to be an ace. Kalitas might just be too slow. Killing elves and then producing zombies is nice, but on the draw, I think this might just be a little on the slow side. They're going really wide, or at least they're trying to. So I don't really think we need the Kalitas. They're pretty much just going to overpower it. So there are 5 things that I definitely want in. I don't think Liliana is going to be where we want to be. They just have so many elves that maybe Liliana just isn't targeted enough. Like, killing their worst elf on turn 3 doesn't seem very good. If we can keep the board mostly clear and have Liliana, then cool. But that doesn't seem super likely. I think I'm also going to cut a Thoughtseize. The discard on 1 can be really important for ensuring they don't get a nut draw. Opponent says turn 2 Ren. Rough on little green dudes. Yep. For sure. So, I would not mind taking some more discard out. Maybe Bloodbraid is not good enough just because it's high end. I don't want to cut too many threats. We have so many threats. That one of the cool things about Bonecrusher, it's just like a fine removal spell a lot of the time, and then it's also a threat if you need a threat. This seems like fine enough. I do like taking out the Lilianas. Maybe it's wrong to even take this Thoughtseize out, but after the opponent dumps their hand, the discard looks a lot worse. And then maybe since they're going so wide, I should actually keep Thoughtseize before Inquisition, because Thoughtseize can hit the Collected Companies, which are a concern. Let's do this. We've got Bolt into Tarmogoyf and then nothing else. I think I'm going to mulligan this. I think it's going to be pretty important to be able to kill at least 2 or 3 things, and this hand does not do that. The opponent is also mulligan, which is nice. This is much better. Keep. And then I think I'm just going to bottom my tapped land. I'm going to want to keep Thoughtseize. I want to keep the push. Kolaghan's Command is another kill spell, and Goyf is the only threat that I've got. Let's just bottom the tapped land. Yeah, Plague Engineer is going to be pretty good versus the tribal deck of X1s and X2s. They've mulliganed to 5. Maybe fairly aggressively mulliganing for something like a Shaper's Sanctuary or Veil of Summer. I don't know how aggressively you'd mulligan for a Veil, but I would maybe mulligan pretty aggressively for a Shaper's Sanctuary. Alright, turn 1 elf. Yep. So most of their super high power level stuff comes in at 3 mana. So if I take the turn off to just push this thing, I can, I think, pretty safely still take their 3 mana plays before they get to play them with the Thoughtseize. So let's, I think, go for the push here. Also, they have so few cards in hand that if I can just 1-for-1 them to oblivion, I don't think they can climb back realistically. JDX says if the hand is playable in the matchup, never mull. Yeah, I mean, I don't think our first hand was super playable. Alright, we get to Thoughtseize here. They've got Realm Walker and another Elvish. Oh, wait, War Master is the 2/2, right? Alright, well, I think I'm just going to take the Realm Walker. We can kill the War Master with the Kolaghan's Command. And then let's just get this in tapped. Next turn, we can play basic Swamp to Kolaghan's Command. Was there an argument for Thoughtseize there at all on turn 1? I don't think so, because like I mentioned, all of their big expensive payoff stuff comes in at 3 mana. So by bolting first, I'm denying them the 3rd mana on turn 2, and I'm still going to have time to Thoughtseize on turn 2. This is potentially dangerous. They're on actual empty now. We're going to get to kill the War Master, which I think is the bigger problem than the Heritage Druid, but they do have lots of mana now. Stomp is nice. So this is 7 mana to give +2/+2 in Death Touch. So what I think I get to do here is I can Kolaghan's Command in the draw step to just have them discard a card, effectively killing whatever creature they draw. It'll be a disaster only if they find Collected Company and hit a Lord. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw step this Kolaghan's Command, and then kill the War Master. They can only make 6 mana here, which is short. Yep. So we've effectively also killed the Nettle Sentinel. Veil of Summer would have also been a punishing card to have drawn, so maybe I took too much of a risk. But killing, it's more likely that there's something that they draw a creature than a card that significantly hates us, and maybe also we hit something like a Shaper Sanctuary. Who knows? So here it's looking like a pretty clear stomp plus cast a Tarmogoyf here. Definitely stomping the thing that like produces lots and lots of mana. I don't ever see myself wanting to fetch basic forest, so I guess I can get basic mountain off of this. We can go mountain, use these 2 to stomp, then use the other 2 to Tarmogoyf. That seems good. Stomp you. And then deploy our threat, which is already pretty sizable at 4/5. We're out of removal. If the opponent finds more things like Realm Walker, we could conceivably be in danger. Azuri. So that one regenerates, which is dangerous. Any merit to Bonecrusher's Stomp synergies with Huntmaster and the board for grindier matchups? I don't think so. I think that's a pretty cute thing. Are you referring to like it's just 2 spells that you'll get to flip Huntmaster with? I mean, I feel like if you're flipping Huntmaster already and you've also got Bonecrusher, you're probably already winning a grindier matchup. So we get to attack here and then I guess play Bonecrusher. Things are going to start getting regenerated. It's only another target elf, so we have to kill the Azuri first. Yeah, Jund was originally like the grindy deck, where like your average draw was in theory always going to be better than your opponent's average draw, but I don't even think that's really the case anymore. 4-color Omnath exists. Yeah, if you want to classify 4-color Omnath as control, then yeah, but if you want to classify it as mid-range, which I think it's on the line, then Omnath definitely the better mid-range deck. Like it's I think a pretty bad matchup for us. Alright, well, more lands, not exactly what we're hoping to see. If I attack, they can go block, block, regenerate both, so attacks don't look good. I'm going to be sure to keep the Mire as the last land because that can be revolted to cast a Fatal Push on the Azuri. Gonna need to find not a land here. Remember, this also has a 5 mana ability. Elves get +3/+3 and trample, which they can now activate. It doesn't get through a Tarmogoyf, so they can't still necessarily attack. Because if they activate the Azuri, they don't have the mana to regenerate. This would be a good time for something like a Plague Engineer. Just another Goyf. Not great. I'll just play the land. This gives the opponent info that I don't have anything, but that's not really giving away a whole lot, I don't think. 4-color Amath is just a power creep evolution of Jund. Yeah, I feel like that might, in a sense, be pretty true. The colors are a little different, but I mean, it does the Jund plan, basically, just without the discard. Alright, we're in top deck mode. Been drawn a little on the dead side, though, unfortunately. And again, not gonna fetch because I may need to enable Revolt. Come on, deck. That's a good one, but these just get regenerated. We still need to kill the Azuri first. If they've got a company here, we could be in real trouble. Ren was a good draw, but we don't have one of our 3 cycling lands to combo with it. So right now it's not doing much of anything. I could attack all. One thing is bound to get through, but then our Ren and 6 dies, and if they've got a company, it can turn out pretty poorly for us. Yeah, you do get to play around Moon a little easier. I mean, one of the colors that Moon turns everything into, red, is one of our 2 primary colors. I feel like black is most important, followed by red. Green has become probably the tertiary color. Brutal. Well, that wasn't really doing a whole lot anyway. I'm actually kind of happy they killed that over just a Goyf. Goyfs are thicker now. Would still really like a Plague Engineer. Now I get to fetch once. It's conceivable that the life loss could come up. Remember, they can still 5 mana overrun. But, I mean, the Goyfs are doing a pretty good job at holding that off for the time being. Alright, and I'll fetch once to thin the deck. Say no to that for sure. And I think I still want to keep 1 fetch for potential push revolts. Alright, we found a bolt. So the buff on Azuri affects itself as well. So I can't actually bolt this while they've got all of this mana available. And the Heritage Druid means that they do have that mana available. So I need to just hold this and sit. Yeah, discard into Liliana feels pretty excellent. What's up, Spunky? Nettle Sentinel. Yep. They still have all of the mana they could possibly need for the Azuri. So they can only activate the Azuri twice, and it's +3/+3. So I guess even drawing another bolt still has it out of range. We're going to need something like a hard removal spell, like a push or a Kolaghan's Command. Not Kolaghan's Command. The copy of Terminate that we've got. All right, cycle that for sure. Kroxa. That's interesting. All right, well, I guess we're gonna cast it. They've got one card left. Interesting to know what it would be. Maybe it's just a land. It's another Azuri. That makes some sense. Alright, and we get to escape this Croxa right now. So I can't fetch Bolt. I guess, are there any red lands in the deck that I'm able to fetch? No, right? So this is potentially hazardous. I think I have to put the Bolt down to escape the Croxa. Because I'm going to need this Bloodstained Mire in case I draw the Fatal Push. So yeah, Bolt is going to be down a turn. There are no more red lands to get. I'll leave the Forgotten Cave in case we find another Wrenn and 6. That'll have it actually doing something. Yeah, I mean, Croxa can get in for some damage despite them having an infinite wall of regeneratable blockers. And it's also just another good Stonewall versus the Azuri overrun. Yeah, Blood Crypt is out of the deck, Stomping Ground's out of the deck, and Mountain's out of the deck. That's all the fetchable red. Alright, they've just found another land. So now they can overrun twice, but that's with tapping everything to the Druid. Actually, no, it doesn't work that way, right? Because you have to tap Druid in increments of 3 elves. So they can still only overrun once. Yeah, I could have fetched for a basic swamp to keep up a red for the Bolt. But like I mentioned, I think making sure Revolt is online is going to be far more important because I need to kill this Azuri, right? Bolt doesn't kill it. So if I draw a push and I don't have a reliable way to Revolt, I'm going to feel pretty silly. And like we already can't Bolt anyway, right? Because they just overrun in response to us bolting this. And then anything else they can just regenerate with the Azuri. So I'm on push or bust as far as this Azuri is concerned. I guess like Terminate would also work. I guess they're doing some math right here. They don't have any cards in hand. We've been pretty lucky as to avoid Collected Company. Yeah, mid-range battle standstill. We just need to kill this Azuri somehow. Lands are obviously pretty horrendous draws. We have the option of attacking with Croxa just to get 3 points of damage through, because again, it is gonna get to trigger no matter what. Oh, they're coming in. Alright, well, I guess maybe I should have held up that red then, huh? Overrun. I mean, they don't have mana to regenerate anything now. So we'll say, okay. I mean, maybe they just have me dead and I'm not seeing it, but I don't think that's the case. These are just 3/4s. Yeah. I mean, I exiled most of my yard. So, yeah, maybe I messed this up. We have to do a good amount of trading. There's not an instant. There's an instant in the yard. Okay. So yeah, maybe I messed up. I should have just left. Should have left, I guess, another type in the yard. But this still has me being pretty fine, right? I could just like not block with one of my Tarmogoyfs. There's already a creature in the yard, so I actually want to block with the Tarmogoyf and not the Bonecrusher. This has me attacking for 6 + 4 is 10. This triggers, that's 13. So they're still just dead here, right? Their things do have trample, so it would be 5, 9. This is 4 toughness. This is 4 toughness. We just take 9 and then kill them. Alright. Unless I did my math poorly, but I think they're just dead. No, yeah, we're not going to block to kill Heritage Druid when we know we just have a lethal attack on the backswing. Like the goyfs weren't gonna grow because there was already plenty of creatures in the yard, and there was also already a bolt, so I couldn't grow it with that either. Yeah, that attack was maybe a little hasty, but that also might have been the opponent recognizing that they're not really winning going much longer. So maybe they were just hoping I'd make a mistake, but they do have plenty of good draws like Collected Company and Realm Walker, so I think that attack was probably just a straight up mistake. Worked out well for us. Yeah, this hand looks good. Oh, they're play their name is cool. You too. Let's keep. So we can't play Swamp on 1 because then we can't run in 6 on 2. So I'm going to lead Shocking Overgrown Tomb, and then I'll fetch Basic Mountain with the Foothills. Botanical Sanctum is weird. Maybe it's something spirits related. I know some Neoform has been getting retested after the passing of Spirit Guy, and I doubt it's that, though. Oh, wow. So I think this matchup shouldn't be very good. They've got lots of cycling stuff and just violent outbursts. I guess I'm taking Outburst. Living End doesn't actually do anything from their hand. We have to take the things that would cascade. Oh, they follow me on Twitch. To play, yeah. How dare one of my followers play one of my bad matchups? You want to play a league with one of your revamped cat tribal lists for this meta, but you're also scared. I have a friend who really likes cat tribal shenanigans. They're aware it's not competitive, but they just want to have fun with it. It's a pretty good deck to just have fun with. They played Flooded Strand. This is a pretty popular list. It is in the top 15. This is a 5-color just Living End deck. They play stuff like As Foretold, I believe, just to cheat out Living End on top of it all. I think. Yeah, at this moment they started watching. Yeah, I mean, even if they were watching, which I don't think they would, I don't think watching is gonna have a significant impact on how this matchup is gonna go. Tier 3 at best. That's not exactly competitive, but I guess at like certain FNMs it could be pretty cool. Blue, green, red, white. They're just missing black. Ceradon. Yeah, so they're just digging for any land and another violent outburst effect. And if they've got it now, I don't think I can win any longer. If they've got exactly violent outburst, they get to do it at instant speed. Well, I don't have a play much better than Liliana and Prey. Yeah, exactly, Ian. Like there are not many decision points that I think are going to be super impacted by ghosting in this case. For the most part, what they're doing is very linear. I don't think, like I think like the most impact something like this matchup can have on ghosting is sideboard plans. Like if they saw that I don't have like a Grafdigger's Cage or something, which actually doesn't work versus something like Living End because it exiles first. Alright, so I didn't know they were playing Force. Maybe I should have suspected that. I was planning on resolving the Liliana, plussing to discard a land, and then buying it back. In the event they countered it, it's possible I should have used a fetch, just so if it does get countered, I still have some value to get. So maybe a small error there, but I don't think it's gonna come up to be relevant within the span of this game. So yeah, I think the way we win this game is we get pretty lucky, and they just like don't find another copy of whatever cascades. There are a few things. There's a 3-mana enchantment that works too. There goes the living end. All right, and like usually this would maybe be a game that we can win, but I just haven't found a threat, and that's gonna make it really hard. I can tread water for as long as until I die, but if I'm not doing this while attacking, it's gonna be pretty difficult. Like the way that I think I win this is I'm somehow able to pop off a Renin 6 ultimate before the opponent finds their combo, and then I can just bolt them out. I need 5 bolts to do it, which is 2 bolts and some lands. Sure. If I were the opponent, I probably would have bounced the Renin 6, identifying this as the one easy way I have to win. Unless they've got just another way to interact, which would then make more sense. And they haven't found it yet. Finding it at any point now is gonna spell the end of me. And then I'm gonna get a red source with this because, like I mentioned, I'm gonna need to send a flurry of bolts their way. One of these bolts is gonna have to kill the Brazen Borrower, so my Renin 6 can maintain its loyalty. There's the Goyf. Alright, I mean, we're a turn off of ultimating, so it is conceivable we get there, but it doesn't look likely. We get to cast a Tarmogoyf here. I'm going to leave up my red sources. If they force 1 bolt, I may need to bolt again, because I have to kill this Brazen Borrower to keep the Renin 6 high. And then should I play a land here? I may need the lands, because the lands are what are going to represent lightning bolts. But if they don't find the combo, I'm, in theory, going to be able to attack, so I'll need fewer bolts. I can only bolt twice at a time anyway. So if they find it on this turn, I can bolt down to 9. Then I need 3 red anyway, so I'm going to need another red source, so if I get to ultimate, I can bolt twice here and then 3 times next turn. So no matter what, I'm going to need another red source. Okay. But again, they're likely to just flash in the Brazen Borrower, and I'm going to be forced to bolt it. I mean, if they don't have it here, it's conceivable that the ultimate gets there. I think they would still have 1 more turn's worth of a window to get there. Yeah, and I always confuse when to set the stops. So, I mean, we still get to do it here, which is why I set it upkeep just in case I messed it up. Should have had it on both, but this should work out pretty much the same. If they've got Force of Negation, they could hard cast it here, but then I still have another bolt. Obviously, it still would have been better to just do it end step here. So if they're hard casting a Force, I'll just do it again. Can't hard cast a Force now unless they're also playing something like Mana Leak. I mean, this was the reason why it was better to do it end step. I have 1 fewer bolt for their face now. I've also only got 1 bolt in the yard to recur. So they need land and the combo, and they're digging for the combo, but they haven't missed a land drop yet. So it's still pretty possible that they can get there. They need their 2 cards to be land, untapped, and combo piece. And a lot of their lands are tapped, things like Botanical Sanctum, Spire Bluff Canal. I mean, we have lethal, right? Or I guess we're actually 1 off. Have to get a red source here. So we get to... Actually, no, this is lethal. Because when we ultimate the Ren and 6, that's going to add Planeswalker. And then we can attack for 6 and bolt them twice. I could also cast the Kroxa first, which I think I need to do. Because if they have Force plus blue card, they could then force the Lightning Bolt, and I could be in a similar sticky situation. This just doesn't play around exactly Remand. But yeah, this gets around Force plus blue card. I don't think they're playing Remand. We do know they're playing Force. They've used 2 already, so maybe it's just smarter to play around Remand, but this seems fine as well. And I don't want to upkeep it, because then if they have just regular Force again, they could hard cast it. So Bolt, target you, pay red. And then Bolt, target you, pay red. They said GG. Sick. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think that came down to the opponent's decision to bounce the Liliana. Ren and 6 was probably the only realistic way I win that game, and it did. So we're for sure bringing in Spell Bombs, for sure bringing in Ashiok. Brutality can take the cards that say Cascade on them. Sayrth says says they want to redeem a posture check. That's a good one.
Did you see what Jer said?
What Jer said? When?
I said, oh yeah, I'm going to the gym. Marty has body ache, so he's sitting out. And Jer goes, Marty dying, Bill at the gym, perfect time to steal the doll. What the heck?
Alright, so things I want to take out. I think I want to cut all of the spot removal. Those are Fatal Push and Terminate. I need 3 more cuts at least. Kalidas is interesting, but most of their stuff is getting put into play from the yard. This only matters if I kill it, and I'm taking a lot of my spot removal out. So I think I'm just going to leave the Kalidas on the board. I don't think we're afraid of Blood Moon. They don't really play many artifacts. Yeah, posture check the achy boy. Yeah, I'm pretty achy. I could see cutting a Lightning Bolt. The bolts, they really only ever go to face. And having 4 of a card that is really only a finisher if they're exactly 3 or less doesn't seem great. Let's cut one of them. We need 2 more. The Lilianas also don't seem that excellent. Like, they can be fine to keep the opponent's hand empty, but they kind of want their hand empty. When they find combo, it's kind of just a 1-card combo, right? Because they cascade into it. They just have to draw the cascade spell. It's even conceivable I just want this Bolt over another Liliana. I don't think we're trying to pillage just a random land here. Something Ren is bad. I mean, the decks that we've been playing against have had lots of X1s. I strongly dislike Ren and 6 when you're not routinely using both modes. But when you look at what the format is looking like, lots of the matchups that we expect to see have some number of X1s in them. And that's increased the value of Ren and 6, I think. I think I'm submitting this. Don't think... It's possible we get the Ghost Quarter Loop going versus them, but that does not seem that powerful. Don't know how many basics they play. It might even only be a couple. Well, I guess I'm keeping. We've got Brutality on turn 2 to hopefully take their 1 Cascade spell. And then we can play Ashiok to prevent them from bringing back lots of stuff at the same time. Ren and 6 makes Ren and 6 unplayable. Yeah. like it's kind of a cycle. It's not a very quick cycle, but it's like when Ren and 6 is good when they play X1, so people stop playing X1s, then when people stop playing X1s, Ren and 6 gets worse. And it kind of like flip-flops like that, I feel. That might be overthinking it, but cycles like that I think definitely do exist. Should probably take their upkeep stuff off. Alright, so they are playing green, so it's conceivable we get Veil of Summered here, but I'm not going to do much in the way of playing around it. Let's hope they don't have a Veil or a double Cascade spell. They've only got one. Alright, so maybe next turn we get to Ashiok, and then make it so their future outbursts are less potent. Remember, like, we can only activate Ashiok at sorcery speed, so if they keep their mana up and then after I activate it, they go cycle, and then outburst, I could potentially be in danger. But it's going to stop their big turn from being actual huge. So they still do have Ardent Plea, but they're missing a land. And they missed it again. Alright, that's big. We also can't get Veiled here. But like I mentioned, they can still cycle stuff and then Cascade. Let's just hit them. We hit another Outburst and another Plea. Okay. And they do have Brazen Borrower. They can flash this in to attack an Ashiok that's on 3 or less. Turning off fetching is also pretty nice. They're just doing this straight now. Okay. That makes some sense. Yeah, Ingot Chewer kills artifacts. The only artifacts we have in the deck are Spell Bomb, though. Darn, they can fetch now because our Ashiok isn't in play. Maybe they don't see it. 4th Blackleaf Cliffs. Sure. If they've watched my stream like they say, they should probably fetch in response. Oh, opponent. You're gonna have a bad time. They can petty theft it again and then fetch. Hopefully that's their plan and they're not just gonna blow themselves out. I think maybe they're realizing. Don't fetch your opponent. You don't want to do that. Can I get Fs in the chat? Here, I'll even put one. F.
Why? In your chat, not the game chat.
My mom put one. Thanks, Mom. Alright, let's fetch. Let's get Overgrown Tomb. We have the Stomp for the Borrower now. We can even maybe take the Ardent Plea. So we have Thoughtseize. If we Thoughtseize, we can only do one of these two things, whereas we could maybe run in 6 and kill their thing. Thoughtseize probably feels fine here, though. These cards do get a lot worse, but they don't do much while the opponent doesn't have much. I mean, I guess we could just Thoughtseize, because then if they petty theft the Ashiok, we could just replay it. Alright, so they've got Ardent Plea, Brazen Borrower, Chewer, Living End. I guess I'm just taking the Borrower. Ardent Plea is the only Cascade spell. How big is Ingot Chewer? Is it like a 3/3? Yeah, it's a 3/3. So they could like cycle Ingot Chewers and then work to an Ardent Plea, but because the cycling of this one is Evoke and not actually cycling, they have to do it at sorcery speed, which means there's a window for Ashiok to just take it. Take the Borrower. And then now I guess I'll just continue activating Ashiok. And then I could just actually play a 4/3, which might be the way to go. Yeah, I think I like playing a 4-3 here. I could play the Dark Confidant, but at this point, we've got all the resources we need to close the game. So I think I'm going to prioritize closing the game faster as opposed to longer. Yeah, Bonecrusher's versatility being showcased here. I mean, it's, again, not a super quick threat, but once the mana cost has been paid, it attacks for 4, which is not nothing. So we know their hand is Living End, Chewer, Chewer, Ardent Plea. Let's attack. I don't know if the opponent is playing any 2 or 3 damage burn spells to potentially hit Ashiok. I guess they can't, right? Because they could accidentally cascade into them. They could be playing Bonecrusher and also more Brazen Borrowers. If along those lines, if I put the Ashiok to 2, it is susceptible to Bonecrusher. So let's just not let that happen, because we know they can't play any of the more efficient stuff, right? Just because of the nature of the deck. So let's play the Bob. It'll shorten the clock by a whole turn. We get to attack for 6 and 6 instead of 4, 4, 4. I could also play the Ren and 6, but in the event they've got another Brazen Borrower, I think I want to be able to kill it. That's not even true though, right? We just have full information on their hand. I guess that means we're pretty free to just play the Ren and 6, get back a land. Alright. Feeling pretty comfy from this point. Especially since, like I said, this is Evoke, and I'm a little stupid sometimes. Let me tell you, I forgot they had like just the one over in exile. All right, well I guess one of our things will die here. We can still ping it off. Sanctum, sure. So they get to kill the Ashiok here. I can be a doof too sometimes. There goes the Ashiok. Yep. Oops. I think they should just cycle the Ingot Chewers, because they're gonna need this Ardent Plea. Others using the Ardent Plea as a board wipe. Okay. Our Kolagon's commands buy those back. Yep, that is copy number 2 of Living End, right? I guess that's only the first. They've got one in hand is what it is, right? So there's the Ardent Plea. So their hand is Ingot Chewer, Living End. They brought in Wear Tear, maybe something to know about. Alright, so Exalted, sure. Alright, let's not try to mess this up again. Ravine, it doesn't do anything. Having them discard doesn't do anything either, so I guess I'm just shocking them, buying back Bonecrusher. Alright, so let's return the Bonecrusher, shock them. Replay our 4-3. Play Ravine, which was a fine draw. Return a land. Alright, so I have kind of given the opponent a window to win. Or not to win, but pull back. Their hand still isn't great. This is still also a 2-turn clock. We can attack for 4 and then either ping twice or just shock them again. Yep. So yeah, they should probably do this again. Oh, did they find, I guess, Virulent Outburst? That'd be annoying. Don't think another Ren and 6 changes it. I don't think I want to activate the Ravine here. I could try to just kill them here, but then I could be dead to a Violent Outburst, right? I like attack with both. They get hit for 8. I could then ping them. But if they've got the Outburst, I could actually conceivably lose. I think I'm just going to hit them for 4. And then see if they've got it. Not cycling second Chewer makes me think they may have it. They're just taking it. Sure. And then lands aren't really meaning a whole lot here, so I think I am just going to ping them with the Ren and 6, which is going to put the onus on them to actually do something, considering we've got lethal on deck. Like, we have the onboard lethal is what I'm meaning to say. They did have it, okay, so I'm feeling pretty smart at the moment, after punting that is. And we can still just shock them, get back Bonecrusher, shock them with the Stomp, and then ping them with the Ren and 6, so I think we still have them dead to this line. These 2 matches are going to be longer than League 86. Yeah, just about. They are playing Forces, though, right? I guess they haven't revealed any yet. I think they took them out. Let's just say, okay. We got a Dark Confidant back. Hell yeah. So their hand is still Ingot Chewer and Living End. They can give something flying for a turn. Yep. They have to kill the Ren and 6 here, but then they're still dead, right? So we can Kolaghan's Command, shock them, buy back Bonecrusher, shock them with Bonecrusher, and then we have either Ren and 6 to do the last point. They have 1 unknown card. Yes, it's Exalted. I'm not going to kill this. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure I want to just buy back my Bonecrusher. Kolaghan's Command. Shock, and return a creature. Return that. Shock you. Stomp. Something cool about this list is there is a crap ton of burn in it. You can kind of close games from when your opponent's really ahead. As long as they're at like 6 or 7, they're in range. Revealed the Spell Bomb. I guess let's lead on that. This is GG. I would type, but oh, here we go. Hopefully they see that. Alright, cool. Pretty good so far. I'm gonna get some more water while this is queuing.
I'm so frustrated. I'm trying to make a booklet, and of course, Mac is making it hard.
So, again, thanks all for tuning in today. This is the third time I'm playing this exact list. The other 2 times are already uploaded on my YouTube channel. I'm going to spoil the record real fast, so if you don't want to hear it, close your ears for a few seconds. I'll give you a thumbs up when I'm done spoiling. We are combined 11-1 now with this list, and the one loss was to getting mana screwed, so pretty exciting results so far. Bonecrusher has been actually pretty impressive, and the record has shown it. They have mulliganed. I give the thumbs up. So we've got turn 1 push, if it's relevant. Turn 2 run and 6. I get water with it. Yeah, I'll redeem it if I feel like I need it. So if they play an X1 here, I'm not even going to push it. I'm just going to hit it with the run and 6. Yeah. So this looks like Heliod, which I think is a pretty fine matchup. We've got a pretty excellent start for what it's turning out to be. So we can now get Blood Crypt and just ping that thing to oblivion. As popular as Heliod is, we haven't played against it a whole lot. Auriok champion. Alright, well we've got the Goyf, which can stonewall that at least. Play the Mire that they know about, and then play our Goyf, which will defend the run in 6 and let us hold up push. Oh no, you gain a life. So there are definitely some draws that the opponent can produce that I am concerned about. Auriok champion is a pretty solid start. Not many ways I have to kill this with my removal spells. They're sprawling that one. I guess you have to enchant a forest, right? So that makes sense. Maybe this means they don't have another land. They chose green. Okay, so they want more green. Makes sense. Let's get Overgrown Tomb. And then I do have the option of just casting Bloodbraid here. Bloodbraid would have the upside of maybe finding a Liliana of the Veil. I think that's upside enough. There's no one thing that I'm super concerned about here, because they can't combo me next turn short of both finding a mana source and having a company and hitting it. And I do need to pressure the opponent here, so I might just forsake defending the Ren and 6. If I could just hold up the removal spells to prevent dying from if the opponent has the actual nuts. But if the opponent doesn't have the actual nuts, I think I'm losing a lot of tempo just not deploying more spells. I'm going to get basic mountain here. I think it's a good idea to keep the basic swamps in the deck, assuming my mana is already good, because I can fetch for a basic mountain, a basic swamp in order to revolt for the fatal pushes. So Liliana would be best case, just a bolt. Well, that can't hit the Auriok champion, so we'll send it upstairs. And then Auriok champion freely gets in the way of the Bloodbraid. And like I mentioned, I'm going to forsake defending the Ren and 6 in favor of actually trying to kill the opponent. So I'll send in for 3. Just about everything that isn't an Auriok champion, I guess, and Heliod, I can kill pretty easily with my hand. Wow, okay. So Liliana would still be a good draw. Croxa, how are we feeling about that? I mean, I'm going to be able to escape a Croxa pretty soon. Maybe I should just lead the turn on play a Nurturing Peatland, sacrifice a Nurturing Peatland. I can still get to do basically everything. The one thing I won't be able to guarantee to do is Revolt a Fatal Push. So, I mean, if they discard a non-creature, non-land, non-instant, we get to attack for 1 additional point. The upside of finding a Liliana here, though, I feel is really high. They're going to have a Collected Company turn coming up. So Croxa not even adding any pressure to the board makes me think that maybe I should just work towards my nuts. But again, if they have the company, I may need all of the removal to ensure I don't get comboed at instant speed, which is not super unlikely. Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of talked myself into just holding up the removal spells, which would have me casting Croxa from hand. I can get back Bloodstained Mire, play Bloodstained Mire, and just hold up all of this stuff. So I'll do this first so the opponent's got minimal info. I'll leave up the double black. I guess I need 1 of the black here at least. They're going to gain 1. Also, doing this before the opponent can maybe get some life gain triggers with a Heliod going is nice, right? So up to 14, discard a Ballista. Wow. Alright, so they do actually add a type. We get to attack for 1 more. Let's play a Mire. And then I guess attack. Again, the Auriok champion gets to freely jump in the way of the Bloodbraid, so I don't see a reason to attack with that. And I'm going to ping the opponent here. Plussing isn't doing a whole lot. Alright, so land was the draw for the turn. Mentor. Alright, so if 1 or more counters would be put on a creature you control, they get double that many counters, and when it dies, they gain some life. Okay. So this doesn't put any counters on anything yet, so let's just let this happen. They didn't have a company too, which is pretty nice. I'm assuming they would have just gone for that had they had it. Is this a Spike Feeder? Okay, so now I'll need to kill the Conclave Mentor in response, I believe. Because this would just enter with 3 counters, and then they could gain 2 more life on its way out. Yeah, too dead for Jim, not too dead for John. My entire body is aching right now. Alright, so they're going to gain up to 12. And then, I guess, what do I want to use between the Fatal Push and the Terminate? I think I'm escaping Croxa next turn. I'm going to have 6 mana sources in play, so I can still hold up the Terminate while escaping the Croxa. So I think that's going to have me leaning towards playing the push, since I'm not going to need Revolt for the Terminate. So let's Revolt now, getting a basic Swamp. And then killing this with Revolt. They'll gain 4 up to 16. And then Croxa can have them playing off of the top of their library after they discard their last card, which in theory is a spell because they were missing land drops. Another N and 6. Alright, so Goyf currently 4/5. It's going to lose some types when we exile. Right? They've got creature, artifact, land. I guess we're adding only instant, so I should keep instant in the yard, which is fine because we've got a Peatland to get our Ren and 6 value. So let's just escape the Croxa, leaving an instant, and then also leaving up terminate potential. You'll gain your 1. Discard your non-land. Play a peatland. Attack for 4. So now what we want to avoid is company. An instant speed way to impact the board and maybe break up a good attack is what I'm concerned about. Just keep going face. Keep up the terminate. The Auriok Champion means if they just hit the combo, I don't actually have a window to disrupt them. Oh, did they find it for real? Right off the top? Okay, it's a Skyclave. Well, that is bad. I'm happier about that than a company. They're going to exile. I would assume Croxa. Yeah. So we can terminate the Skyclave, which will make us a 2/2, which can actually attack past the Auriok. Alternatively, I could ping it with Ren and 6, and then ping it again with Ren and 6, which would both add Planeswalker to the yard for the Goyf and maintain our Terminate in hand. I think that's something I'm interested in, which means I'm not using Peatland for mana, and I can, I think, freely cycle it. Bob, cool. Alright, I do think I'm going to take the line of double Ren and 6 ping it so I can keep the Terminate. We got to keep the new one. Ping this again, which actually gives us a 2/2, which can attack past this. We'll gain another 1. So this is going to be overall a pretty close game. I still think I'm holding up Terminate here as opposed to just playing a Bob. Bob doesn't get through the Auriok Champion, but it would draw some cards, which is nice. So if they draw a land here, we do have lethal because we've got a Ravine in play. They could block Ravine, but then take 5, 8, 10. We even have a ping if we need. Alright, they did find a land. So it looks like we take game 1. Assuming my math is correct. They're already hellbent. Right, so if they block the Tarmogoyf, they take 4, 7, 8, 9, and they're still just dead. Cool. This deck has been pretty solid. We haven't lost a game yet again. Alright, so we're definitely bringing in the Engineers, another answer to things like Auriok Champion. It's also pretty good at disrupting their combo. They're playing Utopia Sprawl, so it's conceivable that Wildfire is good. What the fuck, Jund is good? No, it might be. Bonecrusher has been really impressive. And I think my sideboard is pretty solid. Don't think we're Ashiok-ing. Brutality is interesting. It's a below rate removal spell, but if we're worried about exactly a company, it could be a way to take it. Kalidas is also interesting, but my own life gain, I don't think that's really going to matter. They don't really have any graveyard synergies going on, so I think we're safe leaving it in the side. Maybe this is a Ghost Quarter matchup. They have so many basics. I don't know what this Ghost Quarter loop is for. I guess it's for the various Tron shenanigans. We just haven't faced those, which has been lucky. We faced E-Tron once and demolished them without the Ghost Quarter. Alright. I don't know what to take out here. We have a minute and a half for 7 cuts. I'm going to shave some of the top end because I don't want to tap out versus combo decks very often. I'm going to keep Liliana because that's one of my better answers to the protection from red stuff. I think I'm keeping all of the various removal spells. I think I'm going to cut Croxa here. It's one of my more slow things, and I mentioned I want to cut off of top end. I need 4 more cuts. I could see it being some mix of push and terminate, but push probably good. Wow, I don't have much time left. Let's cut the Kolagon's commands. 3 mana for 2 damage is not a lot, and they don't really have much destroy-based removal. Kolagon's command just seems like it's going to be super expensive. Yeah, maybe I'm just overloaded on these ones. Let's not board in an extra push because we're already so dense. I took out a good number of threats already, so I don't want to cut another one. And the discard is pretty bad going late, so maybe it's conceivable I should just cut one of those. Let's do that. Have I looped the Ghost Quarter yet? No, I have not. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I don't know that it's worth the sideboard slot either, but some other people were doing it to some success, so I was hoping I would, I guess, gauge the power myself, but it hasn't come up. So we're hoping this is the creature as opposed to the Utopia Sprawl. Bummer. So since they didn't play 1 mana creature, maybe this is a time where I should just get the Ravine down. Liliana is an even greater incentive to do so. Plague Engineer was already a pretty good incentive. I think just about everything they play, obviously short of Heliod, will be able to kill with Brutality next turn anyway, so I think I'm going to get my tap land down. Yeah, I can kill that. Veil of Summer is still a concern, so that may be a reason to just use the Lightning Bolt. Although, things like Liliana also get blown out by Veil of Summer, so if they have the Veil, maybe it is possible I should just get out of their hand now. I would like to escalate the Brutality, but I think that's too much of a blowout if they have the Veil. You're saying playing cards in Jund that don't do what you want them without help from another card? Yeah. Yeah, that's typically why I've been down on Ren and Six. Like, when you can't use both modes reliably, like, finding lands isn't super relevant as long as you also have one of the lands to combo with it. So typically I've been down on it, unless, again, you can use both modes reliably, which I think we may be slowly evolving back into a mode like that. Yeah, I mean, if they've got the Veil, it will suck, but I think I am going to prioritize at least just getting it out of their hand now. So do I want to escalate it to maybe take a Coco? I think that's too much of a blowout if they've got the Veil, so let's maybe get 2 for 1 as opposed to 3 for 1. Alright, cool. And then we are still concerned about just Collected Company. We were pretty lucky to avoid it last game. And if they play something like an Auriok champion here, I think I'm just going to go for Engineer as opposed to the Liliana. While having Planeswalker in play is really nice, it still gets blown out by Veil, and their pause may indicate that they were maybe trying to play around it. Alright, well, they're tapping out. Okay. So we still just get to Plague Engineer naming Human. Centaur Cleric. Human Cleric? Okay, so maybe Cleric actually a better name. Right? Cleric. Is there any reason to just name human? I don't think so. You'll gain a life. You got it. Alright, don't kill me. So now we have Bolt plus Liliana, which maybe gets the board empty. So they could activate Gavany Township, which would put Mentor up to 3, but that's still within Bolt range. And then Company is still something we're concerned about. I think had they had Company last turn, they maybe still would have just made this play. So I'm not going to rule it out. So I think I'm shocking here. If I play the Peatland and then play Liliana, like I don't have a red source to play, so if I play the Peatland, it's gonna essentially tell the opponent that I have a bolt because I could have just used the life. I would have had to not. I would not have had to pay the life, but shocking the tomb might just tell the opponent I don't have a 4th land other than this one. So let's Liliana. Red, black, black. Then go for an edict. And then just hope this works. Company time. This costs 5. Oh, they're doing this, I guess, just to gain an additional couple points of life. Alright. So this is going pretty well. Again, the opponent apparently doesn't have Company, which is pretty lucky. It's about time they find one. Skyclave, brutal. It's completely conceivable I should just bolt this thing now just so I can get some pressure going, because otherwise I don't actually have any. I do have Bloodbraid Goyf as some pressure, but I think I like really putting the pedal to the metal here. Get a 3/3. And then plussing my Liliana means that the opponent's going to be playing off of the top again. And I would love to play Bloodbraid Hold Up Bolt, but I'm losing a good amount of pressure by discarding the Goyf. I can't play Bloodbraid and Goyf though, so what I think I may actually do is I'll just play the Goyf, play the Peatland and hold up Lightning Bolt. This has me discarding the Bloodbraid, but we're attacking for 3 here, putting the opponent to 15, and then we're attacking for 7 and 7, so it's still a 2-turn clock. The Bloodbraid doesn't actually shorten it by any. Unless, I guess, I could discard Peatland, play Goyf, have this up, and then next turn I can Bloodbraid if I find the lands. Yeah, it seems fine. I am aware that I've got a Ravine in play. So the opponent is officially off of the top. And it's I guess conceivable I should just cast the Bloodbraid now. Does that change the clock in any way? We're attacking for 6 now, which would put them to 12, and then on the following turn we've got Goyf. It's still 2 turns away because the Goyf doesn't have haste. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for Goyf. It's gonna attack for more reliably. Get in for 3. Alright, the opponent is off of the top. We would like to avoid a Collected Company. But in the event that they find it, we maybe have bolts to disrupt the combo. Yep. Yep. Jun doing the Jun thing. Alright, so they're up to 5 mana total after sacrificing Canopy. I guess down to 5 from 6. Another Canopy. They're still at 4 mana if they sacrifice the Canopy, so they could still hit a Company. Case is still true. They could still hit a Company. So they got white and green on those sprawls. Doing it now to see if they can hit it. And we're going to know whether or not they've hit it before combat, because we're going to get to Liliana Plus. I think I'm just going to continue holding the bolt. Maybe that's bad. I could just cash in the Liliana here. Yeah, I think I like just cashing in the Liliana here. They're gonna get to gain 2 though, which is kind of unfortunate. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bolt them. Put them to 11. I'm gonna untap, edict them. They'll go back to 13. And then we've got an attack for 8, 9, 10, 11. So if this hits Kolagon's command, Bonecrusher Giant, Lightning Bolt, they just die on the spot. Not quite. So the opponent's only out now, I believe, is drawing Collected Company, and then hitting the nuts, basically. I could have maybe held up Terminate just to prevent that exact scenario from happening, but it's, I think, pretty unlikely. Closing the game, I think, also has some merit, but maybe I just can't die if I hold up Terminate, so I could definitely see this being a mistake. It's only Company that keeps you alive. Sick. Alright, we've yet to drop a game again. We are now a combined, spoiler alert, 12-1 with this list. Again, losing to Mana Screw only. So that's exciting. It's definitely worth a follow if you haven't done that already. And a sub on the YouTube channel. All the social media stuff is here. Hey, Zulatin, thank you for the follow. I appreciate the support. Unfollows. No, Ian.
Just to follow again.
I just got my graduation tickets, by the way.
You redeemed them?
No, I didn't redeem them yet. I just got the email.
Okay, you have to select the seats or else you're gonna end up with nosebleeds like I did.
I'll do that after this.
Everyone else that's graduating with you is getting them right now. You're gonna end up with
You want to do it for me?
No.
I'll do it after this
Okay,
then.
fine, give me. I'll do it.
It's fine. I'll just do it after.
No, you need to care. I'm telling you.
Yeah, this list is doing really, really hot. Yep. So we'll go Wooded Foothills on 1, get Overgrown Tomb, and then Rin and 6 on 2 if it's good, or we just don't find something better to do. Yeah, we would have been 13-0 if not for that Mana Screw issue that we had. I mean, we kept a 2-lander on the play with at least 2 things to do with it against Is It Prowess, where if we hit any third land, we would be in a very good spot. So, I mean, I don't think I'm supposed to ship that hand ever. We just got unfortunate. Is this Heliod again? Maybe it's Niv. Okay. This matchup should be interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to kill this yet. If I do find a way to kill this, I'm going to prioritize doing that. Not quite. I can Kolagon's command it next turn if I want to, which is likely the plan. Hopefully they don't have a Flagstones. They don't. It's a Naya deck, which is interesting. Explore. Okay. Interesting. Luckily they didn't have fetch into Explore into another fetch, because then maybe I can't kill the Reclaimer. I do definitely think I should kill this Reclaimer. Okay. That is interesting. Push may be one of my only ways to kill something like an Omnath, though, so I still think I want to use the Kolagon's command. We're not going to be super close to escaping this Kroxa, so I think Kolagon's command is still probably the best thing for us to use here. And I guess I'll play the Blackleaf Cliffs. It means I'm not getting a land back this turn, but this will at least mean that all my cards get to come in untapped. Kind of funny. If the opponent had 2 lands in their graveyard, they could have discarded a 3rd land, and then Kolagon's command would have no longer worked. So something to be aware of. Because, like, the whole spell resolves before, like, the state-based actions are checked to see if it dies or not. Right? Right in time. There's the flagstones. Teferi is annoying. They're just plussing it. Okay. They don't have a land. Remember, they did explore, so they're a land ahead. Bob is nice, but running 6 is making it look a little on the awkward side. Let's lead on Croxa. See what they want to ditch. I'm assuming their hand is all spells, because like I said, they, I guess didn't play a land. Or maybe they did. Yeah, they played Flagstones. I'm just being stupid. Okay. Okay. And then I could play the Dark Confidant, but it just gets boinged. I guess I could shoot the Teferi now, so that way next turn I could play just redeploy Bob and then shoot the Teferi again. This opens up my Renin 6 to potentially getting bolted, but then we're feeding Croaks, and that might be good too. So yeah, let's ping. Yeah, let's just get a land out of the deck. I guess we can get basic mountain here pretty safely. Keep my life total on the high-ish side. Yeah, I think probably best to get the -3 out of the way. Yeah, and we knew this was a potential thing that could happen. I think it's probably best to get the minus out of the way before I'm attempting to escape Croxa, because bouncing the Croxa feels pretty poor. Another Reclaimer. Alright, well, we're going to push that, more than likely. We can just play the entire hand here. Alright, let's, I guess, see if this works first. We can play around Mana Leak as is. I guess not playing around Mana Leak anymore. Chaos, thanks for the resub. 8 months in a row. Really appreciate the continued support. I forgot I had been streaming that long. Have a lot of Jund Leagues in the Jund League folder. 88 after this. Alright, so we're going to try to finish off the Teferi with this one. That works. And then I guess just to save the life, I can play Basic Forest. Basic Forest is never going to escape the Croxa, though. We can escape the Croxa with the other lands. Let's just save the life. If this Bob ends up going the long haul, it's possible I'm going to want my life to be relatively high. So one thing that I'm going to have to keep an eye out for is just getting naturally scape-shifted, assuming they play enough mountains, which I believe they do after all of the triomes. This is a Bring to Light. Looks like a Bring to Light for 4. Yeah. Maybe it's just Omnath here. Omnath would be a problem. We have a lot of answers to it, but none of them we have access to right now. Oh, it's Valky. Interesting. They just plussed it. They found the flagstones and an Inquisition. Interesting, interesting. Valky is problematic. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Alright. Come on, Bob. We revealed Peatland and found the Stomp. Alright, so between an attack, a ping, and the Stomp, we can get the Tibalt down to 2, which means they can't minus it. They can continue to plus it, though, which could be problematic. But I think keeping it off of a minus is probably a pretty big game. So let's Stomp. Ping. I guess play a land. They know about the Blood Crypt. Let's just get this in tapped, I guess. Say no. Play this. Then attack it for 2, keeping it off of a -3. Not loving the spot. If they draw something good and then flip anything half decent off of Tybalt, I could definitely fall behind. Needed to hit like 2 lands. Land, okay. Yeah, we needed them to brick, and we got paid off a little bit. Oh, that's bad for me, right? Because now they get to play Flagstones, Valakut's turned on. They can kill both of my things. They can even play my Blackleaf Cliffs too, so they can kill actual everything. They bricked on the Tybalt, but did not brick on the draw step. Yeah, we did reveal the Peatland, but they knew about my my Blood Crypt as well because they Inquisitioned me off of Tybalt. So they know about both, so I might as well get the shock in, right? Yep, there goes the Bonecrusher, there goes the Run 6. It's gonna make things hard, not gonna lie. I guess we're just gonna lead on Peatland here and try to get lucky off of it. Need like a Bloodbraid into something here. That kills the Dryad, which is a start. Why is my sizing of everything so weird? I guess we have to cast this from hand as well. If they drew something else silly, they don't get that too. It was an Omnath, okay. Alright, I mean, we're in the same spot as we were last time. We need them to brick. And why are my cards so weird? We're on auto size. Strange. Alright, brick please. Stomping Ground and a Bolt. That's kind of a brick. Yeah, I did have a chance, but the Tybalt has given me the hands. Yep, so Liliana dies via my own Lightning Bolt. Then, okay, I guess the land situation fixed itself. All right, we need Bloodbraid here to try to deal with this Tybalt. I guess I'm escaping Croxa here. Yeah, I guess I'm escaping Croxa here. Let's ditch. Keeping Peatlands. Keeping, I guess, at least a couple Planeswalkers. Let's ditch a Kolaghan's Command, sure. So we'll go to 11 here. They can minus the Tybalt to deal with the Croxa. But if they recast it, it actually just goes to my own graveyard, right? Cycle. So, are all of these cards exiled with Croxa? Let's see. Guess I'm re-escaping a Croxa. Maybe this forces them to finish off the Tybalt with another minus. Who knows? They're at 5 now. Yeah, Dreadbore would get us out here. I still think on average the instant speed is going to matter more. They found Bolt and a Triome. These don't mark with it, right? There's not like a marker. It has to be exiled with this. Yeah, so unfortunately I don't know which ones. I don't know which cards were exiled with the Tybalt. I know this Croxa was. I think my Bolt just now was. Alright, I think we get to kill Tybalt. Assuming they don't have an instant to deal with it, which would be unfortunate. If we go with the opponent... Oh, this was a mistake. Now I have to kill the Tibalt, but I definitely should have Liliana'd first. Because if they don't hit... If they don't have anything, I could just attack them and kill them. So this was a mistake. But we do get to kill the Tibalt here at a minimum. So, that was an error. I mean, we're outgrinding Tibalt. That feels good. And a Bolt? Wow. We were so close. I mean, we're still in it. I think I'm going to play the Liliana and just not plus it here. Because I do want to keep the Bolt. Sure. I think that's the last card that they had with Tibalt. I can't remember. So yeah, I woulda had them dead had I just remembered I could plus the Liliana first. Oops. So no, if I lose, we'll know who the doofus is. Wildfire for a redraw. I mean, if they find Omnath here, wow. All right, so we almost lost to a Tibalt, but we were able to grind it out despite me being a little stupid at times. This might be a matchup for Ghost Quarter. Maybe get that loop going. Don't know how many basics they play. Probably Pillage as well. Definitely Ashiok. I don't think we're spellbombing here. You're already on the edge of your seat. Yeah, I mean, this list has been performing really, really well. I think this is the hottest run I've ever been on. Again, we're a combined 12-1, and the one match we lost was due to an unfortunate mana situation. And then this league is the second league in a row where I've gotten to this point without dropping a single game. I mean, maybe there's something there. Like, Bonecrusher, it's never been ridiculously impressive, but it's always done a job that I've needed to happen at the time when I've had the Bonecrusher. So I definitely give at least some of the success to the Bonecrushers. Alright, we need some cuts. Brutality is a maybe, because it can take the really expensive instants and sorceries. Let's cut the Inquisitions. I think I would like to cut some of the Lightning Bolts. Bolts can finish walkers, but pushes can kill Omnath and the Dryad if it's a 3/4, and also just the Dryad, the 2/4 Dryad, and then also the 1/2 that becomes a 3/4. The Croxus looked very good there. Think I'm cutting the Terminate. I don't want a crap ton of answers. Terminate can kill everything reliably, so maybe I should keep in the Terminate before another copy of Push. I need one more cut. Is it possible it's a Kolagon's command? This really doesn't kill a whole lot. Yeah, let's maybe try this. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, Smirabito. I mentioned a game or two ago, I think it was last match, when we were playing against the opponent that is a fan of the stream. We were able to kill them because they were at like 5 or 6, and we just had a crap ton of burn spells. So we play Run and 6, 4 Bolt, 3 Bonecrusher, Giant, Bloodbraid's got Haste, and there's another burn spell in here, right? Stomp, because of Bonecrusher. This hand looks a lot like our last hand. I think it's still a keep. We can bolt the 1/2 if they've got the 1/2. But yeah, being proactive, and also K command. Yeah, there's just a lot of burn in this deck. And when the opponent is at 8 and that's in reach without even attacking, I feel like that's pretty powerful. A lot of the games that we have won have been because the opponent was close to dead, they dealt with all of our stuff, but then we were able to burn them for 5 or 6 and they just died. So I think this list definitely has some merit. Alright, I'm going to fetch here so that way I can get value off of the Ren and 6. I've got lots of black requirements in my hand, so let's get the Tomb over the Stomping Ground. And then I'm still going to play the Blackleaf Cliffs next turn. And then if they don't have, if they play a creature here, I'm likely to attempt a Liliana Edict. If they don't have a creature here, I think I'm just going to slam the Ashiok and make it much harder for all of their other cards to be good. Yeah, I'm back on 2 Overgrown Tomb. I changed the mana base around when I started playing the Bonecrushers. Alright, so Ashiok, sick. Do I want to minus now? I may want to minus when there's something more relevant in the yard. Let's just plus and say go, I think. I think it's pretty important to have this on 5 because, like, if I minus down to 4 and then there's something I actually want to exile, I have to put it to 3 and then it's within bolt range. Alright, Bloodbraid would usually be nice, but Teferi's turning off the Cascade is being a little annoying. So I think what I'm going to do here is play the Mire, try to get the triple threat going. Yeah, I think switching Terminate for Dreadbore is probably a fine swap. All right, we're grinding them out. We've got the triple threat going here. All right, this is not to say that this will be enough, but this at least feels pretty good. Bring to Light shut off, Scape Shift shut off. The one thing I don't really have a good answer to is a turn where they deploy multiple creatures. I've only got one Liliana in play. There's drawing a card off of this now. Okay. This maybe means we can Naked Cascade the Bloodbraid just to get the Teferi dead. We can Edict that. All right. Yeah, they had the double creature draw. That is what I said I was concerned about. And now maybe we're in trouble to a Valakut. So, not out of the woods yet. So we've got an interesting decision point here. I can minus my Wrenn and 6 to ping the Elvish Reclaimer, and then I could replay a Wrenn and 6 to ping the Elvish Reclaimer. And then I could also Edict the opponent to kill the Dryad. I think that's what I'm actually interested in. The reason why this is, I think, so interesting is because we're one turn off of an ultimate. The opponent can't search for anything, but the issue is, if we leave their creatures alive, our stuff just gets attacked anyway. So I think I'm actually going to forsake an ultimate here. Chaos says that they would -2 Lily and play BBE to block. That's also I guess a viable line, but I think the issue with that is Bloodbraid does not block the Dryad very well. So if the opponent doesn't draw a creature, we can then Edict again. But I think that line goes really wrong if the opponent finds a creature. And either the best case there is we Edict again, and then we lose our Liliana. So I think I'm gonna forsake the ultimate and just ping twice, Edict. Alright, but then we get to play this. Gonna be sure to keep the new one. Ping it again. Now we get to Edict you. And then, is it worth it using an Ashiok now? I still don't think there's anything of particular relevance that I care about, so let's just get a 2-min and say go. Yeah, their top decks are far more powerful, but I think as long as we have an Ashiok, that's not even the case. Yeah, I think we're so far ahead as long as we maintain these planeswalkers. Yeah, the opponent agrees that if I go for the high upside, high reward, sorry, the high risk, high reward play, then I could just win on the spot. But it is high risk, and while I'm so far ahead and can maintain being far ahead, I don't see any reason to take any risks, right? But look at this record. This list has been actual bonkers. Yep. The date is 4/27/2021, and I have broken Jund. Maybe. If Bonecrusher Giant really is as good as I'm beginning to believe that it is, and people like actually integrate Bonecrusher into being like a Jund staple, and that it started here with all of you all, that'd be really cool. Yeah, they play Bring to Light. We saw it in game 1. It's a way to cheat a Valky into play, or you get to cast Tybalt still because the rules still allow it. Yeah, and fetch lands also don't do jack with Ashiok in play. The weird part is that Bonecrusher is more the Bonecrusher side is more attractive. Yeah, like I said, like Bonecrusher, like it's weird in that it does neither job particularly well, but it does both jobs, you know? So you're more reliably able to deal with whatever it is you have to deal with at the time if your cards can do multiple things, right? And then sometimes you get to use both abilities, right? Like if the stomp is relevant and just having a threat is relevant, then cool, you get a 2-for-1. Sergio, thank you for the follow. I appreciate your support and welcome. But yeah, we're a combined 13-1 now. Would have been 14. Grilled Cheese MTG, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate the support. But yeah, you heard it here first. Remember that. Bonecrusher good. I'm sure people have tried it in the past to some success. To some success. I doubt I'm the first one to do it. But I mean, I think I've got probably one of the best sample sizes right now, given that paper magic isn't really a thing, unfortunately, at the moment. So I mean, pretty cool. Make foil Bonecrusher spikes. I've already got 4 copies of Bonecrusher in the cool frame, but they're not foil. I don't think a card's price would spike because of it being a little bit better in one specific Jund list. That said, Jund people love their foils, right? Sayer 3D Posture Tech, that's probably good. Alright, can we trophy again? Can we go perfects again? That would be cool. They've revealed Luris. Bonecrusher feels like it's going to be pretty good versus Luris. We've also got a Fatal Push to subsidize us if we play against anything ridiculously fast. Not looking super good on the Bob front. Yeah, I had Jund almost completely foiled out once upon a time. I was doing like the whole expedition deal. Not the new expeditions, the old ones. Alright, well, let's push a crab. It doesn't look like my life total is going to super matter. I guess it matters in the sense that I'm going to want my Dark Confidant to be good. We've already got a lot of red. We've got 1 green. We're not really going to need more than 1 green. It's definitely possible I can just get my swamp here to have the Bob be as good as possible. I still think it's probably better to make my mana really good. So let's just get Overgrown Team and push then. I'll pop out the Luris so we don't forget about it. Yeah, like you mentioned, Desperate, or Dark Reprisal. I don't know why I read that Desperate. Yeah, the Bonecrusher is going to be a pretty solid little clock here. Smearbitter says that the Jund list is all original printings of the cards, couldn't afford all foil. Yeah, when I downgraded from foils to not having foils, I went for the original printings. So they could have a push of their own. They could have something like Drown in the lock. Either way, it's going to be good versus Bob. So I think I'm just going to still play the Bob. The upside of this living feels high. Yeah, the quality issues are also concerning to me, but I've heard that they've been getting better about it. Oh yeah, foil feature site glyphs. That was actually the one piece that I never got foil. I never got the Liliana's foil, and I never got the glyphs foil. And then the reason for that, at least the reason why I was saving that for last, is because I had my Liliana's signed by the artist, and I had my glyphs signed by the Duke himself, so I didn't feel like switching them out when they were already so pretty. Alright, let's just play a 4-3. I could Thoughtseize, which I would maybe consider, but we've got backup Bonecrusher, so let's just try to get this first one in. Bonecrusher Giant cast. Come on, there we go. You feel like signed is greater than foil? Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. At least at least I live in Florida, and foils are dangerous in Florida. It is always so humid. What do I use for original printing bolts? Oh yeah, I don't have original bolts because obviously those are ridiculously expensive. I think mine are just like M11 or something. Alright, we get to attack with Bonecrusher. I mean, I'm assuming they're like a mill or maybe rogues? That doesn't make much sense though. I guess we get to Thoughtseize here, which is nice. We have two potential lines here. I could Thoughtseize and play Bonecrusher, or I could cast Bonecrusher, have the opponent discard before they're aware that I'm going to Thoughtseize. I think before anything, I can just attack with the Bonecrusher, see if that evokes something. You bought a stack of foil Bloodburied Elves at a GP once, only to find out after purchase that the three in the back were all signed by the artist. That's sick. Yeah, 4 and Black Border Bolts too expensive. Yeah, they're pretty pricey. They're still a couple hundred. Yeah, if I'm gonna Croxa, I would want to do it before the Thoughtseize, so the opponent discards without the information that I'm also Thoughtseizing. I think I'm just gonna cast the Thoughtseize here and then Bonecrusher. We'll still have the option of casting Croxa, but we can put a significant clock on the opponent if we can clear the way for double Bonecrusher. So let's just do this. Alpha bolts or bust. Nah. If I can afford alpha bolts, they're going to be like essentially ripped in half. Oh wow, it is rogues, I think. So Aghanim's Awakening can reanimate a crab. I guess I'm just going to take one of their literal 4-for-1s. So it costs 3 to cast if an opponent has 7 or more cards in their yard. So I guess we'll try to stay above that threshold. And then they've demonstrated an inability to deal with Bonecrusher. So let's cast it. This is a 2-turn clock now. We can hit for 8 and then 8. I think Alpha is tournament legal as long as you clear it with the judge. Because like, I know the corners are different, right? So I think as long as you can make sure that you can't pick out alpha cards like from a sleeve, like without looking at them, you're fine. And by you pick out, I mean like the judge has to try to find them. And if they can't find them, then I think you're good to go. But I could be wrong. Solution: only play alpha cards? Nah. Bonecrusher is looking pretty cool here. Pretty interesting as well that Croxa may be able to actually further deny into the story, which is kind of funny. Alright, Luris to hand. Yep. And Island. So their hand is Aghanim's Awakening, Into the Story, Luris, and One Unknown. Land not great. I guess I should start on cycling Forgotten Cave. Something to keep in mind is that after casting Croxa and Forgotten Cave, we're going to have 6 cards in our yard, which is 1 short of them on the cheap casting this this Into the Story. But I think it's still probably worth it, because like if I find an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize here, it's going to be pretty decent. We also need 5th non-Croxa card in the yard anyway. We found a Goyf. Interesting. I guess let's just lead on attack. Yes, I'm winning. We're on a perfect run again. We're currently 4-0, 8-0. If I can go perfect 5-0, 10-0 into a 4-1, only losing to Mana Screw, into a 5-0, 10-0 again, how absurd would that be? I've already officially never run hotter. Except for maybe the time where I took down a regional. They found a Cling. Alright, that gains them 3. I guess I'm glad I didn't play the Croaxy yet, huh? Because I would have gotten tagged. So they're going to get hit for 8. So we know their hand is exactly Luris, Into the Story, Agadeem's Awakening. We can no longer escape the Croaxa next turn. We're 1 point short of lethal. I guess adding if we Croaxa next turn, that actually adds creature to the art. Oh no, that's not true. They've got Ruin Crab. I think I have to play the Goyf then. Yeah, let's get the Goyf down. Maximum pressure. I doubt they're playing something like Damnation, but I guess it's conceivably possible. What's up, Nick? How are you today? Yeah, like Bonecrusher has looked excellent here. We would have no semblance of pressure otherwise. And then maybe we lose to something like Into the Story, right? So like the Bonecrushers here have actually been pretty excellent. So they get to play the Luris here. They can recast a Crab. They could then play Agadeem's Awakening as a land, which would turn on their Into the Story. Hit Flooded Strand. Alright, so we know their hand is Agadeem's Awakening and Into the Story. They hit it, Croaxa. Wow. And we can both escape Croaxa and do something if it costs them. I saw the bolt for a second, like, thought it was in my hands. Like, we can escape and bolt, but that's not true. Congrats, you played yourself. Unfortunately, that did not grow Tarmogoyf. Okay, so if I bolt the Luris, if I bolt the Luris and just attack, what happens? We don't add a type. There's no way that we Croaxa and have them discard to add a type. So I think what I have to do here is just bolt the Luris, attack all. They have to block, and then they're on empty. They can Into the Story, but then they can't draw enough Fatal Pushes to get them out of it. So I'm assuming I should escape the Croaxa first, so they don't have the information on what to discard, right? But I guess I need to attack first. That's icky. So they've got instant, land, and that's it. So I actually have to remove creature. So I actually kind of need to attack first, which means I have to bolt first. All right. Let's just bolt it. Yeah, Croaxa is going to be really good versus Into the Story, turning it off. Yeah. This is an original list by me. Not to say I'm the first to try Bonecrusher, but people were just asking me to give Bonecrusher a try. I don't remember who it was, but it was like 2 or 3 people, and they've conceded. We're 1 game off from running perfects again. Bonecrusher is looking really good. All right, so we are playing against Luris Mill, maybe. Still not entirely certain. I think I want the Brutalities. I want the Spell Bombs. Push could be nice just as another way to kill a crab. These are no's. This is interesting. We can't exile our own yard to turn off Into the Story, but it will be nice versus their various fetching. And if they're playing mill, they might not have crabs, you know? So this is the maybe pile. They could be playing something like Mesmeric Orb, so maybe Pillage is conceivable. Yeah, that's also true, Chaos. Like, having a card that's versatile and can perform multiple jobs means that I think you have more slots to make your sideboard more narrow, right? So you can really target the things that you're expecting to have an issue against. Alright, I think I'm going to cut Wrenn and 6 at least 1. It doesn't do a lot. Most of this deck looks good. I think I'm shaving Terminate. Pushes just do the job better, and I'm already thinking about bringing 1 in. We need 6 cuts. What does this curve look like? Not bad. I think I'm keeping all of the stuff at 1. I guess it's possible I should cut some of the discard. And they're companioning Luris. I think Thoughtseize just worse. Thoughtseize and Inquisition are pretty piss poor draws going into the late game. But they could be good at taking like the burn spells, which would mean like glimpse of like the mill 10s and mill 20s. WCH0034, thank you for the follow. I appreciate your support. We need one more cut. Yeah, all the crabs. I think I would like to max out on ways to kill the crab. But I mean, Inquisition and Thoughtseize they're such bad draws after the first couple of turns that I don't think I want them. Like, they could be good for like if the opponent puts Luris in hand, I can maybe snipe it out. But that seems like the best case, and that's not a very high best case. Like, very high ceiling best case. I think I might just cut another Wrenn and 6, which could definitely be an error with my curve on the highish side. But everything else has looked just great. Maybe Ashiok isn't strong enough. Watch, I'm gonna draw an Ashiok when I need literally anything else to win, and then that's gonna be why I don't go perfects. But Nick says, drink some water. You got it. We've got a keeper. It's not great. The same would be great with a Wrenn and 6. We can bob on 2, but that's pretty fragile. Our only interaction on 2 is Bonecrusher. They've mulliganed. Bonecrusher doesn't kill the O3 crab, but it does kill the O2. The Ashioks never exile our own yard, and our yard is what the draw fours care about. Ooh, Fruit Canal? Yeah, I would imagine your face is still numb from that. Those suck. I haven't had one yet, but I have had some cavities filled. Croak's not great. So we'll get Overgrown Tomb. I'm not gonna play around like Tails End or anything. Although it would be very good. So I'm still assuming the opponent is on some kind of mill deck. I guess it could be Rogues. If they've got a crab, I hope it's the O2. Damn it. We could still draw Bolt or Push. There are 8 of those in the deck. This has to target me. They milled 3 non-lands. That's nice. Fortunately, we do not have a good way to deal with this crab, which maybe means I should have mulliganed, but this hand feels pretty serviceable. Another land would be fine. Okay. So we're going to get to Ashiok next turn. Do I want to prep for it in any way? Like, no matter what I do here, Bob or Goyf either gets hit by a Fatal Push or Drown in the Lock. So I guess, is there any reason to play one before the other, assuming it is going to get tagged? Bob does not attack through the crab. I mean, it does if they're afraid of us combining with a burn spell. My mana my hand is so full of what I hope to be relevant interaction that maybe I can just stick the Goyf here, but getting the Bob in play seems like the highest upside. Because I guess I mentioned I hope this hand is relevant in terms of interaction, but we just talked about how we can't kill a crab here. So maybe I should go for the attempt on killing crab. Alright, they don't have the push, I guess. Oh, they milled one. Brutal. The Inquisitions don't take the draw 4 because it costs 7. Spunky. They milled a Croxa. I should ask the opponent, would you like to concede? I bet they say no. You got Drown? Yeah. You want to attack with the crab, send a message? Alright, I think I'm sticking the Ashiok here. I mean, it's also just possible I need to get a clock going, which means I should cast my either Bonecrusher or Tarmogoyf. In the event the opponent is actually playing Mill, I think I should use my Verdant Catacombs now, because if they're playing Archive Trap, I want them to have fewer looks at it. So what I think I'm going to do here They're playing so many fetches and Luris. If I've got a window to resolve either a threat or a Ashiok, I think it might be Ashiok. Fearless Citizen, thank you for the follow. I appreciate your support. So this is a pretty key turn here. I think it's either Ashiok or Bonecrusher. What are the next turns gonna look like? If I don't play Bonecrusher here, I feel like I'm fairly priced into casting Kroxa next turn, because I do need to get some semblance of a clock going. Ashiok isn't even providing that much value right now. But if they've got removal spells like Fatal Push, more Drown on the Locks, Ashiok is more resilient to that. I think I'm leaning Ashiok, but this could definitely be the play that has me losing. Unbanned Skull Clamp, thank you for the subscription with Prime. I really appreciate your support. Subs are always welcome, but never necessary. Alright, hopefully this doesn't bite me. And Ponza for the win. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate your support. Alright, this resolved, which is nice. See what we hit. We hit... Okay, and it is Rogues. We had a Soaring Thought Thief. You prefer the Bonecrusher here? Yeah, it's definitely conceivable I should be Bonecrushing. Like I mentioned, I do need to get a clock on. If I know I'm against Mill, I think Bonecrusher is definitely better. But not being against Mill, I think this makes this decision a little bit better. Not to say it's still better. Ashiok is gonna shut off this fetch, which is nice. So, Thought Thief is a 1/3, right? Yeah, so our 2 damage spells don't quite do it. Alright, okay, and we're still not hitting a way to deal with this crab, unfortunately. I think I'm going to go for an escape on the Kroxa here. They could have Drown, which would be unfortunate. But, like, we know they're playing stuff like Cling to Dust. The alternative line is I just cast Bonecrusher now, play Blackleaf Cliffs, and then next turn try to do something with 5 mana. But they're also playing the what is now 4 mana draw 4, which we can maybe disable with the Kroxa line. So I still think I'm leaning towards Kroxa. And then if this works, we're in a good spot. And if it doesn't work, we're at least making their cards worse. Alright, for the sake of our Goyf, let's keep an artifact. Let's keep an instant. We're keeping at least 1 creature in Bloodbraid. We can then get rid of the Goyf. Although Goyf is something we could get back with the Kolaghan's command, but I think I'm more likely to get back the Bloodbraid. We need 1 more card gone. How many sorceries do we have? Just the Brutality? I guess we don't need 3 Lightning Bolts in the yard. We can just leave 1. Done. Drown. Archmage's Charm, maybe? That would be bad, too. I'll pop out the Luris so we don't forget about it. Charm, okay. Alright, and there's nothing I'm super worried about in the yard right now. So let's just pass without using Ashiok. The opponent did not fetch. They're smart. Mutavault. Okay, that could be a concern. Mutavault does get stomped or Kolaghan's commanded. This is a close one. Peatland is nice. Yeah, they're not using the charm to draw to, which is, I think, a fairly relevant point here. So having drawn Peatland, this means that... What does it mean? I think I still want to escape Kroxa. Thing is, escaping Kroxa means that Mutavault has the ability to attack the Ashiok. I guess that's not true, assuming the Kroxa resolves and sticks. If we escape the Kroxa, we're going to go down to exactly 7 cards in the yard, so they can still cast their draw 4. So I think what I'm going to do here is play my Peatland, play a Tarmogoyf, and then tend on using Kolaghan's command to maybe kill Mutavault and bring back a Bloodbraid or something. This all seems fine to me. I don't think they're playing Snapcaster. They don't even have the mana to do it yet. So let's do this. Gwaif is pretty large in this matchup. This could get drowned or something. Or countered. If they counter this... Oh, they do have the draw 4. Brutal. Do I want to Kolaghan's Command now? I don't think so. Draw 4s are pretty bad for me, not gonna lie. Alright, so having the opponent having drawn 4, I think that changes the plan a little bit. I think I'm just gonna cast this Bonecrusher to attempt to apply maximum pressure. Because if they're gonna continue drawing a crap ton of spells, I need to put them on the back foot while they do it. Because if they're drawing a crap ton of cards on an empty board, there's probably no way I can keep up. Alright, please don't ruin my 10-0. But you just might. 6 cards is a lot of cards, but we do have the onboard ahead. Tamogorf, yep. The Goifopotamus, if you will. What is this? This is a drown. Yep. Yeah, this game is going to be quite close. I think that's probably an accurate assessment. They still have access to Luris. Hopefully they also don't have a way to deal with this Kroxa. They got 4 cards left. It's very conceivable. They only have 3 mana, though. Ashiok is turning off the fetch pretty well. Luris to hand. Okay. There aren't any cards in the yard that the opponent can get value off of, though. This also means that we're going to get to resolve our Kroxa from the yard. Let's lead on attack. They may intend on blocking here, thinking that they can just replay the crab. So if they block with the crab, I will use the Ashiok to sweep it away. How do you play rogues? I don't know. Alright, Bonecrusher, get in. Alright, no block, makes sense. Alright, Kroxa. Do the thing, please. Red, black. Again, we want to keep potential Gwaifs large. I'm going to keep Bonecrusher in the yard because that's something we can Kolaghan's Command back just as a shock. There are 2 Spellbombs now. I can probably pretty safely get rid of 1. Lots of lands that aren't going to end up mattering. I guess Ravine could matter. I can get rid of Kolaghan's Command pretty freely, and Blackleaf Cliffs also seems pretty free. So this is going to trigger, you'll discard a card. If they discard something that I want to sweep away with Ashiok, I will activate it. They just discarded a land, okay. Alright, land. That's what I got this turn. Alright, so they're going to untap with Luris. Yeah, Ashiok is doing well. It hasn't like been like the absolute end all be all here, but at least choking the opponent off of 1 mana while they've got so many cards feels like it's doing something. 2 mana now. They milled the other Ashiok. So Luris is in hand. Oops. We have 24 cards in the library. That feels like a lot. And this Kroxa is just gonna keep on coming back. Every time they kill it, we're at least taking a card with it, unless they just straight counter. This game is gonna be really, really close. Yeah, we have seen things like Soaring Thought Thief, but they haven't actually cast those. Alright, so we do have to remember that the opponent has a Mutavault. Channeling energy, thanks KO. I was just saying, like, how insane would it be if we go 5-0, 10-0 into a 4-1 that we only lost because of a mana screw into another 5-0, 10-0? How absolutely absurd would that be? Fatal Push. That's good. So what I think I'm going to do is attack. We'll let the trigger resolve and then push it so they can't block. Seems fine to me. Yeah, our draws, the Croxas have been excellent this game, and the Bonecrushers have looked excellent last game. Alright, so we're going to let this trigger resolve, so they discard without the info that we're going to attempt to kill their crab. Like, if they discard lands, they're taking 3, so, like, either way, they're discarding spells or they're discarding relevant things, like that. Alright, so let's attempt to kill the crab. If they counter this and then block, it's not the end of the world, but it is unfortunate. And if they activate Mutavault here to try to block, I'm probably just going to Kolaghan's Command it. We are 1 off of lethal here. So, like, they're forced to do something, or actual any burn could get them. Just letting this happen. Okay. I guess they could still block with Mutavault. This, each opponent mills 2. As long as the opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, it has +2/+1 and Death Touch. Do I want to Kolaghan's Command that? Their hand is Lurrus and something. So I guess that means I'm Kolaghan's Commanding, trying to kill that. I'm going to use the Ashiok in the second main to make sure Lurrus doesn't have anything juicy to get back. And is there any reason to respond to this? I don't see why I wouldn't just respond to this. So we can shock this, return Bonecrusher, because it's just another stomp. Are there any better modes? I could have the opponent discard, which would have them maybe going down to just a Lurrus. I think I'm just Kolaghan's Commanding. Something that Smearabito is bringing up is I think you're telling me to maybe bring back Bonecrusher and stomp this, but I think having burn just to go to face with this massive onslaught is just going to be good. So let's try that. If they counter this, it's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. They have another Thieves Guild Enforcer. Okay. So they're going to trade for something, but then we're going to sweep it all away, and they're going to be on Lurrus plus Mutavault versus all of my stuff. Oh, I can also just stomp this. Yeah, let's just stomp this. This is way better. So they're going to 1 here. We get to sweep away everything with Ashiok. Yeah, I guess they have to activate Mutavault too. Yeah, we're putting them on next to nothing after this. Look how awesome Bonecrusher has been. Like, this is insane. Yeah, I'm gonna exile the yard in the second main. I can't do this at instant speed. So we're gonna go to 7 here. Yoink. Land, go. Yeah, they have Lurrus in hand. That is their only card. Wind Robber, sure. So I guess they can draw a card, play Lurrus, replay it. Any reason to hold land in hand? I don't think so. You're secretly letting off air horns? Cool. They actually can't replay it though, because Ashiok is turning off the polluted deltas. They're on no cards. So I feel like we probably have lethal here. Which means we're maybe about to complete another perfect run. That doesn't make it any easier. Alright, so if we attack both... Wait, we do just have lethal, right? We have 3 triggers just from Crox's attacking and entering. We get to attack all. They'll block this, go up to 10. Oh, but then they actually go to 1. They go to 1. Right? Is there any way to just get lethal anyway? Yeah, I think they're going to 1 here. They'll get to trade if they want to. I could crack Peatland, but then I can't cast Croxa and play Croxa to put them to 1. Yeah, I think I'm just going to attack first. I don't think I'm missing lethal. Yeah, I mean, I have to attack with the Croxa. They're going to gain 3 from blocking is the issue. I mean, this is still a position where I don't think I can really lose unless they have like a mill 20 or something. Oh, I see what you were saying. Okay, so you're saying cast Croxa, escape Croxa, keep this one. Yes, that would have worked. Yes. Yeah, you're correct. I still think we're probably in a good spot, but I did miss lethal. We should be okay. We're still also killing their Luris. I guess cast this. They have 1 card in hand now because they just drew a card. Actually, I guess it wouldn't have worked, right? Oh, no, because then they wouldn't have been able to block. Yeah. Chat's right. I'm stupid. And they conceded. Anyway. So, yeah, despite my almost punt... I think we did a thing here. I think we did a thing here. Uh, 10-5, number 2. Sigh, I'll get the Bonecrushers now. Okay, so we are a combined 14-1 with our 1 loss to Mana Screw. And me almost being an idiot in that last game. But we don't talk about that. All right, let's do a quick deck tech for purposes of the recording. So, as just previously mentioned, holy crap, we are 14-1 with it's like an honorary 15-0. Like you keep 2 lands versus a prowess deck with things to do. You assume you're eventually gonna find one. So a little salty about that, but I don't think I'm in a position where I'm allowed to be salty. Holy crap. This list is insane. I don't know what more I have to say about it other than it works. Have a good one, Smirabito. Yeah, it's 15-0 in our hearts. Jeez. I guess the one thing that I'll say, which I've said, I said it at the end of the first 5-0-10-0. The first 5-0-10-0, like there was another one. The one thing that I will say is that I still have yet to have the Kalidas be good, and I still have yet to have the Ghost Quarter be good. I'm assuming these would be good in matchups where they're relevant, but we've avoided those. So... y'all should buy some Bonecrusher Giants. I have a feeling they might be good. if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching up until this point. If you're not already following me here on Twitch, you definitely should. It's a great free way to support what I do. Another great free way to support what I do is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where all of these leagues, including this one, are going to be uploaded. This is the 88th Jund League, so there are already 87 leagues. Actually, 86. The more recent one hasn't been uploaded yet. There are 86 leagues already on my YouTube channel, plus some extras like shadow variants, a couple Abzan decks. So if this is the kind of content you like to see, definitely head over to YouTube, and you'll find days worth of hours worth of content over there. So I'm going to end the recording here, but I'm going to stick on the stream for a little while longer to talk some Jund with chat. But again, if you're here on YouTube, I appreciate the support. Definitely hit that thumbs up button. And until next time, Jund 'em out.